So here we are in front of this beautiful Sacramento River,
yes,
with the famous artist.
How you guys doing? This is Malcolm, Airbrush Assassin McCrae. We are in Sacramento at Old Town. Enjoying ourselves. We just got done finishing up the California Arts and Education Conference 2015, and we have been enjoying the festivities, enjoying meeting new people and art educators from all over California. And I was so honored to be able to be invited to do a keynote and do an airbrush workshop, and just a beautiful day. Very grateful to be able to be here today.
Yeah, I also find that we have used up our energy. Just relax. Now is our time.
Yeah, it's been a long weekend of meeting people and shaking hands, and it's been good though. So it makes it all worth it when you meet incredible people, when you have a good time. You gotta have a good balance, you know. And I totally believe in you never work a day in your life as long as you're doing things that you enjoy. And I so enjoy traveling and meeting and creating and living and inspiring. So it's been an incredible trip. We should have been here. Yeah.
Come back again.
Yes. So what should we talk about here? Yeah, well, I'm glad that it rained today. I know California's been going through a big drought, so that was beautiful to be able to see the rain. And where I come from, we don't want to see rain, but I guess down here that's a blessing. So that was a good thing. It rained last night and this morning a little bit, but it's been a beautiful experience. It's been beautiful to be around other creative people, because it's so easy to go back home to our normal lives, and very few times we have opportunities to be able to meet so many creatives from all over the country. So it's been a blessing to be here. It's been a true blessing.
We made it.
We made it.
Another year, another time.
And we met originally in New Orleans.
Yes, New Orleans and here.
And
yes.
now we're here.
Yes.
So we are traveling the world, showing you guys the lifestyle of
doing the good things.
Doing the good thing.
Doing good.
Living, creating, and inspiring.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Every day I had to deal with the trials and tribulations of going to school and being bullied, and dealing with being different. Because everybody else was into sports. Everybody else was into girls. Everybody else had the fly clothes. Everybody else had the most popular tennis shoes. Nobody else smelled like kerosene. So every day I would come and walk to school. I used to have to carry a knife to school every day because I used to get bullied so much because I was different. But you know what? I had an art teacher. It was a safe zone. She opened her doors for me every day, had papers and pens for me. And when I would come in and I would be depressed and I would be down, and I would use all this frustration to be able to lash out in my reading class, in my math class, and in my science class. When everybody else would kick me out, she kept that door open for me. She was a special person. She was somebody that gave me and seen value in my craft and my skill. She was an art teacher just like you guys. And one day, things changed for me. I was drawing in art class, and this bully would bully me every day. And this one specific day, I had my head down. I was kind of, going through something, and the art teacher comes and brings me a big sheet of paper and a pen like she did every day. And she said, draw it out. So I started drawing. And 5 minutes later, this bully comes up, and I'm prepared. I don't know if he's going to hit me, if he's going to throw my papers on the floor, but I knew he was going to do something. So I'm drawing, and he looks down, and he says, you drew that? I said, yeah. He said, man, how much would you charge me to do my little girlfriend's name on a piece of poster board? I said, $2. Then another bully came up. How much? It's my little sister's birthday coming up. Can you do Mickey Mouse? I said, yeah. How much would you charge me to do Mickey Mouse? Oh, $3. I had a little hustle, I had a little business going on. You wanted glitter, it was going to be an extra $1. You wanted a couple of extra colors, it was going to be, I had a whole little dollar menu going on, right? So I became a popular little kid. You know, the tables kind of like turned. You know, art has an opportunity and has a potential to be able to do that sometimes, right? Has a potential to be able to switch things over from where you are the kid who's getting picked on, now you are the kid that everybody wants to be. So that became my little hustle. I would make, $20 sometimes a week. Enough money for me and my dad to be able to buy some food. My dad worked at a corner store, a local corner store. And one thing that my dad always ingrained in us was, in life you're going to go through trials and tribulations. You're going to go through hardships. You're going to go through hard times. My dad was a screen print artist, but wasn't nobody buying screen printer. So he worked at a corner store every day, restocking 40-ounce bottles of liquor. That's what he did, kept the beer cold. But every day he would come home, share, we would count the money together as a family, and we would go out and buy dinner every day. And my dad, one of the things that he always instilled in us, because I remember one night, the first night I lived there with them, I remember and I asked my dad, I said, Dad, what happened? Because, we was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, we wasn't poor. We had each other. And we had food on the table, but to go from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, from having and then coming to Columbus, Ohio, living in an abandoned building, it was a different lifestyle. And I asked my dad, I said, Dad, what happened? And he said, son, this is life. And life, you're going to go through ups and you're going to go through downs. And he pushed me to be able to use art as a tool to be able to get my frustration and my pain out. So on that stoop that you guys seen, every first of the month, across the country, people will get their welfare checks. So my dad had a friend that lived down the street from us. And his friend ran an extension cord all the way down the street. And I set up my first airbrush shop. And I made my first $100 out there on that street corner, guys. That was my great little hustle. I kept that hustle going, me and my brother. Until one day, we got a knock at the door. It was somebody that knew us in the neighborhood, knew our family. It was a phone call. My mom had passed. We had to make a decision. So we decided to leave that night, packed up all my airbrush equipment, whatever little clothes I could take, and we hopped on a flight that night to be able to go back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin and take care of my little 3 sisters. I had to make a decision. New place, new environment, new school, new teachers. Was I going to follow my dream to one day being an airbrush artist, or was I going to go ahead and throw it away? We opened up a shop called Showtime Wild Image, 38th and North Avenue in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was 15 years old. We built that business. It took me 5 years to be able to build that business. I bought that business. I bought the building when I was 17 years old for $1,000 from the city of Milwaukee. And we opened up that business and we did airbrush t-shirts, from tennis shoes to t-shirts to jogging outfits to custom airbrush backdrops to automotive to anything that could be painted on, we painted on. And one of the things that I learned throughout that process is that art has value. See, young people don't understand how art plays a role in their everyday life. They don't understand why is art important. That's why they always saying, why do I have to go to art class? I understood why art was important because I made a living off of art at a real young age. It was the only opportunity that I had. Nobody else wanted to hire me. I was one of those kids that was always in trouble. With the police. I had a little record. And everybody gave up on me. But art was one of those things that was sacred. And if it wasn't for that art teacher caring and doing more than just enough, I wouldn't be here to this day. So me and my dad built this shop, Showtime Wild Image. We was doing over $150,000 a year, guys. Over $150,000 a year. And things were good. But it was a downfall to that. And that downfall was 80% of the business that we was doing was built around memorial and death t-shirts. Across the country, in Black and Latino and poor areas across the country, the way that we remember our dead is we do these memorial t-shirts. Some of you guys might have seen some of your kids coming in with these photos of their little homies that passed, their uncles, their family members that died. 90% of the work that we were doing in this shop was built around the death of our community. So here I am, a young kid, making over $150,000 a year. And 90% of it, 80 to 90% of my energy and my talent was built around dealing with the death of my community. So I had to make another decision, another choice. And I remember one of the things that kind of happened in my life that kind of helped me make that decision. And what it was built around a friend of mine. This is a friend of mine. His name is Glenn Hills. But his street name is Okie Doke. My brother, him, a lot of friends that I grew up with are right now incarcerated. Okie Doke has been in prison for over 15 years. But he was a young, talented artist just like I was. His talent was painting on tennis shoes. He came into my shop one time, both around the same age, and had a pair of lime green Air Jordans. And I remember looking at these shoes like, man, where did you buy these shoes from? And I'm gonna tell you, he told me a lie. He told me his uncle was a chemist. And he created this shoe paint, right? But nonetheless, Okie Doke was very talented. But it was this one day, this one night. The thing that I kept having to be able to deal with is a lot of my friends was getting pulled into the streets. I was an artist and a creative person, but a lot of my friends weren't artists and creative person, or they didn't see value in art. They didn't have a father who pushed them to be creative. So one day I get a call. Okie Doke them calls me up. Just before they call me up, I get a call from a producer, a promoter who's been doing rap shows in Milwaukee. He asked me to do this photo backdrop. Now the photo backdrop is a big backdrop. You see these different rappers on stage. They might have a backdrop of an urban scene or graffiti backdrop. Normally we painted on bed sheets or big pieces of canvas. It was this night on my shop floor. That's how long I worked on this project. And it wasn't unusual for me to be working late. But one morning, I get a knock at the door. Young Latino woman comes to the door. I open up the door. She asks me, can you do some memorial t-shirts for my son? He just got murdered. And this wasn't unusual for me. But I specifically asked her, and I normally don't ask because, you know, it's kind of painful when you hear these different stories about what happened. So I asked her, I said, what happened to your son? And she told me he had got killed during a drive-by. And I asked her, I said, where did it happen at? And she told me roughly around the corner. She gave me the address. And it was the address of a friend of mine. And I didn't understand. I said, well, how was it the same address? Come to find out, guys, my friends and them who were going out that night, they didn't go to a party. A couple weeks ago, I didn't know this, but the guy who was renting the house to his family was a drug dealer. And he wanted to kick their family out. He disrespected my friend Okie Doke's mother and just kicked him out. Didn't give him 30 days, didn't give him no kind of eviction notice, you know, and we're very prideful in poor areas. So to disrespect somebody's mother is a no-no. These guys, they took it personal. Now Okie Doke, what they wanted to do was destroy the house. So they did the drive-by that night. Instead of going to a party, they did a drive-by. I ended up doing the memorial shirts for this woman's son who had been in that house. They didn't know who was in there. They ended up killing him. So I had to do memorial shirts for this lady who my friends killed her son. At that moment in time, I had to make a decision in my life. Was I going to continue on being an artist and a creative person and putting all of God's energy into dealing with death? or was I going to focus in on dealing with life and growth? Throughout that process, my daughter was born. And I remember that when she was born, that it was a whole different kind of energy. I realized that I could take this art form and this creativity and take it to this next level. And I really focused in on doing this because the last memorial shirt that I did was of a 2-year-old baby that got ran over by a drunk driver. And I realized that I couldn't do this anymore. People thought I had lost my mind. My dad and them wondered why I wasn't coming in. Everybody wondered why I wasn't answering my phone. And I decided to close that business down. $150,000 a year. Because I knew that I had something bigger to offer the world than to be dealing with death and memorial shirts and watching my community being destroyed. So my last memorial shirt was of a 2-year-old child. I had my daughter, she was 2 at that time. But something happened at that time as well. I had a friend of mine. He was a musician. He's a DJ. He calls me up one day. I don't know if anybody knows this, but it was this rapper. Everybody probably heard of Tupac, but it was this rapper, and they had this group called Digital Underground. Yeah. The Humpty Dance. There you go. So my friend, he's the road DJ for Humpty. So he comes in and says, "Can you do this shirt for me for Humpty?" I said, "Yeah, no problem." And he said, "Man, we're going to be going on tour. We're going to be traveling the world. Can you do this shirt?" I said, "Yeah, no problem." I didn't think anything of it. I've done, thousands of shirts. I do this shirt. A couple months go by. He gives me a call. It says, "Hey, man, we was in Australia, and a guy seen your shirt. He was wondering if you would take his call." I said, "Yeah, I would definitely take his call." He called me. I get a call, and all of a sudden it's, "Good day, mate." I'm like, "Who is this?" This guy seen value in my skill. I went over to Australia for 2 months. Left the memorial and rest in peace shop. My dad ran the shop while I was over there. And what I realized is that urban art and creativity, the world looks at it from a whole different angle. It was the first time I seen value in what I did. For somebody to fly me all the way over to Australia showed me that I had value. Showed me that somebody seen something bigger than me than just being a hood painter in my local neighborhood doing memorial shirts. So how can I come back from Australia to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to do urban airbrush memorial t-shirts? I couldn't. I realized that I had a bigger calling, and one of the things that I realized at a young age is when we was making over $150,000, nobody wanted to work for a kid. I was 17, 18 years old. I couldn't find a graphic designer. I couldn't find anybody who wanted to work for an airbrush artist. I couldn't find anybody who wanted to learn how to airbrush. But what I did have is we had a shop in the middle of the ghetto, and we had neighborhood kids that would come every day to come make some $2 or $3 to be able to sweep up sometimes. They would come knocking on the door to come say hi to Pops. They would come knocking on the door just so they can be able to earn some extra money so they can be able to feed themselves. They would come to the shop at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when their mom and their father was fighting and they needed somewhere safe. So we hired all neighborhood kids. And I realized that I had my true passion was inspiring the next generation of creative professionals. So I went on a quest. And I had art teachers like yourself contacting me. Do you come into schools and do workshops? Do you come into schools and teach airbrushing? So I started this journey of living, creating, and inspiring. I dedicated my life to focusing on living. We all gotta live. And as a creative individual, I realized that I can't do the normal 9-to-5 situation. I gotta create, and I gotta create every day. And not only do I have to create, I have to inspire other people. I have to inspire other young people. I have to inspire other educators. Because art can do that. So I spend my life now going into schools, sharing my story. We just opened up a facility down, I live in Cape Girardeau, Missouri now. called the Inspired Through Art Institute, where we work with young people, showing them how to be able to take their talent and create entrepreneurship opportunities, showing them how to be able to be the next generation of creative professionals. Because guess what, guys? We're losing them. Young people don't understand why art is important. The parents are telling them not to be artists because you can't make a living. So it's important for us to be able to have people like me coming into the schools, showing them that you can make it as an artist. You can make it as a creative. You can make it. Young people don't understand how art plays a role, but if you tell them that all the tennis shoes that you guys are buying, spending $150 on a pair of shoes, that was made and created by a creative individual. All the album covers, the mixtapes that they listening to, was created by somebody just like them. All the clothing that they're wearing was created by somebody just like them. It's important for them to see artists to this day who are still living, who are still creating, who are still inspiring. So, one of the main things that we're focusing on right now is, I've been traveling right now. We have a couple different elements. My main focus right now is the hip-hop airbrush tour, using hip-hop as a tool to be able to inspire young people, because we're losing them with the same old curriculums. We got to bring something else in. They like the hip-hop culture, they like the music, strip out all the negativity, but be able to feed them some thought. You can create your whole curriculum by using hip-hop. They understand that language. They might not understand perspective. They might not understand standardized testing, but they understand hip-hop. It's part of who they are. It's part of their soul. And I know some of us might not be plugged in with that culture, but if we don't take the time out to figure out a new way to be able to educate them, or to at least meet them halfway by using a culture and a language they understand, we're going to lose them. So we created a tour, the Hip Hop Airbrush Tour, where we travel all across the country inspiring young people through hip hop and airbrush. We do workshops. And then last year I created my own airbrush because I was listening to you guys. I know that you guys are buying a lot of products out of these magazines, a lot of products out of these catalogs. You want to be able to find tools that can be able to help you inspire these young people. So we created an airbrush built around keeping it really inexpensive, because we understand that the art budgets are constantly getting shrunk, smaller and smaller. So we made an affordable tool for you guys to make it easier, and then also the result of an art teacher not giving up. I'm the end result of an art teacher whose budget was getting cut, but she found some of the smallest things to be able to keep me inspired. I'm the end result of you guys doing more than just enough. So thank you for keep pushing. Thank you for keep dreaming, and thank you for coming here to this day. And before we get ready to wrap it up, I want to do a quick airbrush demonstration. I created a piece built around you guys. And this is my pride and joy. It's called the Assassin. And I created it, and I call it the Assassin because it's built around assassinating negativity in the world. That's our plan. That's our quest, to assassinate negativity in the world. So this is our airbrush that we developed, built around helping you guys get the airbrush inside the schools and push this airbrush industry. If it wasn't for airbrushing, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for airbrushing, I couldn't, raise my daughter. So this is a tool that saves lives and changes lives. So definitely help support our mission, and definitely help if you guys need me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Use me as a vessel. Use me as a tool to make you look cool. That's my goal. You bring me into your school, my number one goal is to make you look cool. So thank you guys. I'm going to do a quick demonstration. And thank you guys for not giving up on young people. Not giving up on us. Because you guys are sacrificing. We know that you guys are on the front line every day. All right. So this piece, real quick. You won't be able to hear it. No overspray. All right, so we're gonna do the CIEA first at the top. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do some outline work real quick because I want to kind of bring this up. And I'm just kind of going around the edge. I wouldn't be here to this day if it wasn't for art education. My art teacher's name was Miss Ballester, right? An old Italian white lady. Right. That brought me to her home numerous times for dinner. And I so appreciated that. So I'm just taking some black, going around the edges real quick, guys. If you notice, the airbrush is really quiet. No overspray, no smell. Now I'm gonna go ahead and throw these letters in. So see? Okay. I'm a graffiti artist, so I'm gonna do a little scribble on here. Do a little tag technique. I should have signed this K out. And then we're gonna proud pass. So you guys can see real quick.
Ooh.
And then bright pink. That's the motto. That's what we all focusing in on. I'm gonna put future here at the bottom. I might end up having to buy this myself. All right, now I better not see this on eBay anywhere now. I'm gonna go ahead and sign this, man. Thank you guys for having me today. This is the photo op time, right? All right. We actually have an airbrush workshop too this weekend, so definitely, guys, come on to the airbrush workshop. Let's do some airbrushing. And thank you guys for being on the front line and saving these young people through art. I'm Malcolm McCrae.